Thank you for having me. Who are influencers? Why are they important? And what makes them effective? So influencers are people like social media influencers. That's what we typically think of. But actually, we're all influencers. You influence your parents all the time to take you somewhere or get you something. You influence your teachers to try to extend the deadline. You influence your friends to try to go somewhere. Oh, the food's better over here. And then once you get to the workplace full time, you are constantly influencing your colleagues. They want to do things one way, you want to do it another way, and so you're going to spend a lot of time influencing. Why is it important? Well, you get what you want. So in the case of my daughter, who's a freshman in San Francisco, she always wants another pair of Jordans. Is she going to get it? You need to graduate at some point, right? And so it's wanting to make sure that you get those good grades and that you get to the college that you want. And then beyond that, into the job that you want, your ideal role. And in that, you're going to need to be able to influence people. You're going to want that promotion. You're going to want that pay raise. And so those are very important reasons in which you need to be an influencer. So what are the 5 things that make someone effective at influencing? The first of which is passion. You have to be excited about what it is that you want. If you have passion, people believe you. And here's my daughter
with all of her Jordans. She's quite passionate about it. Now, as Spartans, you are also passionate about your sports, your teams, the clubs that you're a part of, the things that you're involved with, the certain subjects that you really love. And when you get to the workplace, you want to be passionate about the projects that you want. Why did I come to this company in the first place? It's because I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. So how do we know that someone's passionate about something? We know because 3 things. 1, they show it in their body language. They smile. They use hand gestures. Mom, I'm so excited about these new Jordans, as an example. The second thing you heard was inflections in my voice. That's important. If you're flat and monotonous, no one's going to believe you. And then the third thing that's important is your use of language. If I tell you I'm excited about something, you have a clue. Otherwise, you wouldn't know. The second thing that makes someone effective at influencing is you've got to know your details. Details are super important. If people catch you with the wrong details, then you get discredited. So going back to the shoe, I had to agree, the details on the shoe are pretty cool. And then in the context of school, you have to know your details. If you don't know the basics, then how can you do more complicated problems? And then finally, when you get to the workplace, knowing your details becomes important. Why should we do this? Why should we build another phone? What's the difference between the 14 versus the 13 Apple iPhone? SOS, eSIM, those are new features. So the third thing that becomes important is being persistent. And yes, my daughter nags, and sometimes I just have to give in because she's being persistent. I just want her to stop. So she said, well, Mom, for the first semester of freshman year, I got straight A's, and so I want another pair. And we were in Los Angeles over the holidays, and so I got dragged, or I had to drive her around town. We first hit Melrose, if you're familiar with Los Angeles. She didn't find it. Then we had to hit La Brea, which has a bunch of shoe stores as well, and lo and behold, she found them. Yay. Persistence is important in the context of school. You don't want to give up. That history class was hard, the math class was hard, Spanish was hard. So it's really important that you hang in there and you make your friends and your parents and your family really proud, and your teachers as well, when you're persistent. And it shows up in the context of work as well. Now, I've got a really interesting story here. So persistence pays off because in the context of work, you're there for 20 plus years of your life. And there's a longevity there. So let's say in year one, you pitch an idea to your manager, your boss, and they don't agree with you. Well, guess what? In year two, you may want to pitch it again. And the reason is because information changes, new data becomes available, or the way they did it in the first year didn't work. And so you've got to be persistent in pushing your ideas. So here's a great example. I'm working with two co-founders of a startup. And co-founder number one said, we need to build AI into our platform before we launch, and it's going to be the first native AI platform. Co-founder number two said, no, we can't do that. It's going to take us 3 years to do that. And so they kept arguing about it for months until November of 2022. So what happened then? ChatGPT became available. It's an awesome platform if you haven't figured it out and used it. And so what was something that would have taken them 3 years to do, they were able to reconfigure the product, launch it, and they actually did a video that went completely viral, and the stats have grown in terms of usage and number of new users, which is really fantastic. So it's important to be persistent. The fourth thing, ask for help. So what happens when you ask for help is, oh, I'm sorry, it should have been this one, but we'll get to that. Sorry, you need to ask for help. So asking for help is important because I got invested in driving my daughter around town, right, looking for these shoes. And so that was a way for her to get me involved. And most of us don't think about asking for help because two things. One, we don't want to look weak and vulnerable. And two, we don't want to owe anyone. But it's the opposite. When you actually ask for help, you show your humility and that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you can ask for help. You're not embarrassed by it. And then secondly, and by the way, you have a growth versus fixed mindset. And then secondly, the piece that's important here is when that person calls upon the favor, you're going to be in the know. You will have been asked for your help, and you will influence whatever project or initiative that they're working on. So it's actually a really fabulous thing. Okay, so then the final thing. Small wins lead to big wins. So with my daughter, who knows what she's going to ask for next, right? But she's built up a track record. For those of you in sports, as an example, it's a bunch of those wins against the other teams on a regular basis that leads to the big game. And then finally, in the context of work, that credibility that builds over time is super important. So again, in year one in your job, you're going to pitch a great big idea. You may not have the credibility yet, but don't give up, because as you build that credibility, that big ask, the big win that you're asking for, will actually come through. So in closing, what I want to do is have you think about and evaluate for yourself, where are the areas in which I could actually be more effective at influencing? Which one of these 5? And it may be more than one of the 5, but start with one. Pick one for this year and work on it, because you have between now and the time you finish college and before you start the workforce to really practice. That's your practicing ground. Thank you.